Background courtesy of Photographs of a Mad Richard. Link in the description.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is once again time to change the bandage. For those of you that don't know, I was injured and it got infected. I spent 5 days in hospital. And now I have a bandage on my hand. So, the bandage needs to be changed at least once a day in a wet-dry manner. And I need to soak the, this is not quite enough solution. I need to soak the wound in order to get the bandage off properly for 10 minutes. So in order to make the best use of my time, I come in here and I make a video. Ten-minute timer's going. Yeah. I really should use a different glass. Really wish I could show you guys a good view of what this is, because it's pretty gnarly. But YouTube would not approve, because it's, again, pretty gnarly. And as I say, what happened was, this was a cat bite, and I'm a diabetic, so my diabetes is the real problem. It permitted the infection to get too bad. My whole hand swelled up, and they had to cut me open in order to get it out. So they cut me open. My thumb is still swollen. It's barely usable. And now I spend my days going about saying, what can I really do with one hand? Into the trash. They got to check me once a week for this one. Make sure it's not getting worse or whatever have you. But, I mean, they said it's going to heal up without further surgery, and I'm going, dude, there's a gaping hole in my thumb. How is that going to happen? I don't know. But, you know, writing reports, brushing my teeth, are all things that are a lot harder with without my thumb. And you know, it's good to try to be more ambidextrous. It's good to try to use both hands as much as possible for tasks. There are actually cultures where you eat with your right hand and you wipe your bum with your left hand. And the reason for that, of course, is they don't have a lot of water and you can't always wash your hands. So you've got your clean hand and your dirty hand. And that's a good thing, you know? Don't know if we should do that here in America, but, you know, I knew a guy who was in the military, and one thing the drill sergeants told him to do was soap his butt. Because if he didn't soap his butt, he'd get pink eye. So, you know, that would at least imply that the left to right thing would be a good idea. There was also a time when we used to grow our pinky nails longer in order to use the nail to pick up salt or spices, because that was viewed as being cleaner. I don't think it really was, but you know, minimal contact. If you're wondering, this does sting a bit. I mean, I haven't taken my pain management today, in the last 10 hours at least. And so, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of pain. I mean, the hardest part is like, I had to shower. I just washed one of my cats, The cat was actually very obliging. It's not feeling too well. Fleas had just infested it, and every time that happens, they need to get a wash. So I was turned on my shower and sprayed the dang thing down. And at first it was like, no, get me out of here. But then it realized, okay, I'm not getting out of here. So you spray until all the redness gets out of the coat. And then you spray it down with flea spray, and then you hope. But it's having respiratory distress anyway, so I don't know. I think that's the last one of its litter mates. My cats are too incestuous to survive. Yeah, I didn't think of anything to talk about during this particular wound packing session. I should have, but I realized at the last minute I needed to pack the wound and I didn't think of anything, so here I am. The biggest change to my diet, by the way, is I stopped eating soda, or drinking soda, but I stopped, I can't really do a lot of cooking with my hand either. I can't do a lot of washing dishes. Hopefully, I'm learning to pack it smaller and the packing isn't as much, so I'm going to be able to get gloves over it now. Or at least I hope I am, but, rambling on a number of different topics, waiting for the clock to run out. The doctors were like, wow, you have an incredible pain tolerance. And I was like, so I'm told. Because all the doctors told me that. They're like, normally, dude would be jumping off the bed because they'd be in so much pain. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, what does that mean? I guess having a high pain tolerance is a good thing, particularly in situations like this, but it kind of implies that I've seen some business. And I have. I've seen some business. This is probably the most life-threatening injury I've ever suffered. I wouldn't call it the worst, but because the worst put a bend in my spine. But this is the most life-threatening because it's the one that required the most medical attention. The bend in my spine thing, I didn't need to go to the hospital for that. Not immediately, anyway. I eventually got checked out by a doctor, but and my cats are just outside saying, no, we want more food. I fed you already, Skittles. I just fed you before this video. These videos can be annoyingly long because I gotta run out the clock here. I really can't do much other than stand here like an idiot with my thumb in the soak. This is what they wanted me to soak it with, but I didn't have enough solution. They gave me 6 of these bottles. And what was left in this one over here, which I'm now using for sharps. I mean, because the interior dressing needs to be wet, I've learned that I should wet it before, because I don't want to dip it in this solution after my thumb's been in there and contaminated it. Although, it would only have the stuff that's from my thumb. There's another solution I'm supposed to be adding to this that may have a little more effect, but when I do that, the bandage turns red, and if the bandage turns red, I can't go to work. So, yeah. We should be almost there now. 40 seconds. Ugh. Does the exact second matter? Probably not. But the nurse did say at least 10 minutes, so And we are done. Now again, I bandage the hand as well in order to get a stiff bandage or a well attended bandage. Because you want something that is reasonably compact and not hanging loose and just not going to pop off is what's going on there. And the snips they give you suck. I mean, to be clear, I don't think these are designed for cutting bandage. They're designed for cutting flesh. But they're what they gave me, so... There we are. And we tuck it. Okay. See if I can get a clean rip of tape here. Right over the ragged end. And there we have a bandaged thumb. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard.
Oogog, Urganog. Daniel Ducky say YouTube gods need long outro so I can tell you comment, like, and subscribe so that this channel can pull trash out of ocean by buying matrices from For Ocean. Also, links to new video now appear. comment, like, and subscribe, or be cursed by Ugatha. Danger Ducky approves.